Hey guys, so being that April is now here, I thought I'd do a pickup video here for everything that I got back in March, being that the Midwest Gaming Classic was then and I managed to pick up quite a handful of games. Normally I'm only able to pick up 2 or 3 games a month that I find just because of time, money, that kind of thing. Last month was a really big month for me. I think I have about 14 games here. I got a little bit of everything from quite a few different systems, but I thought I'd just share them. I don't have any video, unfortunately, from us, uh, those of us who went to the Midwest Gaming Classic. The few videos I do have, you'll probably have seen in my last video, the little gag reel that I put together of all the Street Fighter tournament that I held here, as well as the Midwest Gaming Classic and some other fun footage that I managed to get, and just figured I'd throw it all into one little video. Um, so we'll start with a few of them. We'll start with the Dreamcast, and we'll kind of go into things. Most of the games I try to pick up are usually Sega related or games that I had at one point in time, and I either foolishly sold or traded in for another game. But yeah, so uh, first on first up we have is D2. Been looking for this game for some time. It's a great horror classic. The main character doesn't talk except for at one point. It's a sequel to the D that was on the original PlayStation and the Saturn some time ago. It was also a launch game for the Sega Dreamcast back in 1999. Uh, Graphics are okay. Not high by any means for the day. It was awesome. Great storytelling, very deep, really got you involved in it, and kind of creepy. It's a true horror survivor game, a la the original Resident Evil. So that's a fun one. Next one I got is kind of a collage, but Sega Smash Pack Volume 1. And the only reason I actually wanted to get this was not the fact that it has just Sonic in it and Golden Axe, but Sega Swirl. It's kind of an addictive game. You can kind of see it there in the bottom corner, Sega Swirl. A little puzzle game, sort of like, gosh, it's not quite Tetris, not quite Dr. Mario. Basically, it's like Hexic. You have the swirls that are in different colors that are all the Sega symbols, and you match them up in the color, and you got a little snake that kind of gives you hints and pokes fun at you. The game itself is available on like the web browsers and all that, but to find it on a pack with 12 games, including Phantasy Star 2 and Vector Man, is always fun. So I had to grab that. I got it actually for a fairly decent deal. The guy was asking $10, and I got him to come down to 9. I saved $1 off of it, but hey, it's dollar saved. Next up is actually a PS3 pickup that I got for $10 over at GameStop. Vinayaka. It just looked interesting. I will warn you though, when you play this game on your PS3, it is a drive killer. You will hear that thing wind and grind just trying to read this disc. The loading times are kind of horrible. The graphics are bad. There's glitching all over the place. The premise of it started off well. You're the daughter of death, and you don't realize that death comes to you in a dream after your village is ransacked by some Vikings or some angry fellow villagers, and you're in search of this demonic sword, and kind of getting revenge and trying to figure out what's going on with death. So it starts off nice. There's some RPG elements into it. It's a hack and slash. But I mean, for what I've played, the first 3 hours of it, it's kind of interesting. But I'm afraid of it chewing up my hard drive on my disk drive from my PS3 because you just hear that thing screech. There are a lot of glitches in the game too, and the reviews were kind of horrible. But for $10, why not give it a try at least? So just be cautious if you do have an older PS3 and you decide to give this game a try. Couple pickups that I got here. This one actually I managed to pick up at a local video store. They tend to sell some of their used games on the shelf. Game of Thrones for $12.95. But yeah, I haven't actually had a chance to sit down and play this yet, but the reviews said it's nothing like the actual Game of Thrones HBO series, which I actually got into recently. I'm still waiting to try to get a hold of season 2, but I'm kind of interested. I've heard mixed things. It's a completely side story, has nothing to do with the HBO series at all. A couple of characters make some cameo appearances, but but that's all I've really heard of it, and it's on my backlog now. Next one is actually a Sonic game. I actually have this on the Wii, but for PlayStation 2, and they were selling it for $2. So I picked it up. It is complete, has the original manual and the game in it. So another one to throw in the cabinet. Some PSP titles. These games actually I had before, and these are the two that I foolishly traded back to GameStop because I needed the extra cash. One I paid a little more than I actually got it originally. The other one I actually got it for less. First one was Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. First-person shooter. Controls are horrible for the PSP. The graphics are great if you're a big fan of the standalone complex TV series. It's great. All the original voice actors are in it. It would benefit if they did have the second analog stick, and I'm really kind of disappointed they didn't bring this yet to the Vita, because it would actually be really good for that. But because of the PSP original missing that second analog, you have to use like the R button to actually control it. It kind of marks it off. But good stuff. If you can find it, it's pretty cheap. I think I bought this originally for $8. Traded it in, got $3, and then I bought it back for another $4. So I saved a little there getting it back, and this is the original one that I traded in, and it's been almost a year. I actually had sat there watching it on the shelf thinking, oh gosh, is somebody actually going to pick that up? But nobody did. So I ended up grabbing it back, had the extra cash. It's like, what the hell? I'll just get it back and throw it back in the collection. Same deal with this one, traded it foolishly back. I bought it new for $19.99. Bought it again for $13. I'm surprised this one actually has been staying up in price that much. It is a favorites version and not the original, but it's the Genesis Classics for the PSP. So just, once again, Sonic the Hedgehog and Vector Man and all the stuff on the Smash Pack, and just re-getting those again. But it's on the go. And yes, you can download it, but hey, you got the original manual, physical discs. I prefer physical over downloads. Well, one more PSP one here I have. This one I've always wanted to try. This one actually was new. They gave it to me for the used price because it was opened, and GameStop tends to do that. And I got it for about $15. But it is Fate Extra on the PSP. It's a kind of a RPG fighting game. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. They were trying to find the special edition for me that came with the art book, but I figured, hey, why not? $15. Still new. Nobody had actually bought it or played it, so everything is complete. I managed to snag that. This another is a Midwest classic gaming pickup. Got this one for $2, and it was one that was in my collection. Foolishly traded it back. It is a Sega game. Gun Valkyrie. Great game. I remember it's by the same people who did Panzer Dragoon before they disbanded, or Sega ended up moving them around to different studios. It does have a sticker on it. It is complete. Box is kind of beat up a little bit, but the disc was in great condition, and the manual was still all there. So I figured, hey, for $2, I couldn't find anywhere else. I scoured the entire vendor's room at Midwest Gaming looking for this specifically. And finally found it towards the end of the day in a dark corner. And the guy was like, yeah, $2, you can take it. I did try to talk him down to like 50 cents, but he wouldn't do it. So, but $2 isn't bad. Another cheap pickup, a Dreamcast game that was re-released on the Wii, Summit the Amigo. I only got it for 90 cents, complete with manual and disc. It is used. The box is pretty beat up on the back side, and it's got some a little bit of dirt and grime at the bottom there, but that's easily cleaned. But same as the Dreamcast stuff, you can download music to it and everything like that, but it's on with the Amigo. Kind of disappointed Sega didn't actually release the maracas. They had a third party, well, Sega's a third party now, but they had another company do the maracas, and yeah. And I got them for the Dreamcast. I just picked it up because it was 90 cents, and with the GameStop Player's Choice, I got it for like 88 cents. So, hey, under $1, full game. Why not? Last three pickups I have, I'm kind of excited for. I already had this game previously, but this one I got complete for $10. I picked up Rise of the Dragon, original manual case, great condition, no scratches, no cracks in the case. Everything is great. I love point-and-click adventures next to shooters. This one has always got kind of that dark undertone, reminds me of Blade Runner and some of the original Metal Gear. stuff. So it's pretty cool if you like the apocalyptic type stuff. Snatchers kind of falls into the line of this one, which is another one I would love to find at some point. I do have the import version of Snatcher. Of course, it's in Japanese, so I can't understand a darn thing on it, but still. Great game. If you can find it, pick it up. It's usually fairly cheap, not very expensive. Last two I got a little more pricey for these ones. Usually you can find these for about 15 bucks. I paid a little more for them. I couldn't talk them down at all on it. But they're in great condition. No cracks on the cases, no scratches. Last Bronx, a fighting game 3D for the Sega Saturn. Has a great animated intro. Plays great. Unique characters. Been hunting for this one for some time. Finally found it there at the convention, so I had to grab it. Last one I have is the Fighters Megamix for the Sega Saturn. I remember actually playing this demo when the Saturn first came out. It's got a cross between Virtua Fighter 2 and the Fighting Vipers cast. And there's hidden characters like the Daytona Racer car, Bean and Bark from Sonic Championship or Sonic the Fighters, whatever you want to call it. Another 3D fighter, not common. You can usually pick it up for about $15, $20 or so. Case is in great condition, and it's complete. So, great to have those two finally in with the rest of them. So, we'll keep coming with those 2D fighters. But otherwise, those were it for March. This month is gearing up to be another big month for a few more games, more modern stuff. Luigi's Mansion just came up, and a couple good RPGs for the Wii. I think The Last Story, or Pandora's Tower, the next in line after The Last Story for the Wii, and two more I think I might have. So I'll try to do another game pickup then at the end of this month or early next month. So thank you guys for watching, and curious to know what are your favorite Sega games?
I can't believe that camera up there has been going the whole time.